What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have why I want to go back to the Netherlands from an American in Europe. Before we dive in, if you guys have it to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's jump right in.
So I've been back here in the United States of America for a little over a month now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to feel a little bit homesick. Now you might be wondering, well Jordan, what do you mean you're homesick? You are home. That's what I thought. When I first arrived here in the US, I thought that I was returning home.
Dang.
And what I've come to realize is that whether I like it or not, this doesn't really feel like home anymore. I mean, if my friends and family weren't here, I don't think I would even feel compelled to visit, much less live here. I do not feel at home here in the US anymore. I feel more at home in the Netherlands than I do in the US, which is crazy to say, given that I only spent 14 months in the Netherlands, whereas I spent literally the rest of my time on this earth here in the US.
That is absolutely insane. To that, I guess, but he connected with the Netherlands so much that's home to him now.
But I can sit here and deny the truth, or I can lean into it. And in this video, that is exactly what I intend to do. I want to explain things that make me want to move back to the Netherlands, or move back home. The first of which being transportation. So I actually rode my bike to this filming location, but one thing that you've probably noticed in the background of a lot of my recent videos, there's a little squirrel right here, another squirrel right there. There are a lot of squirrels here actually. Don't see a whole lot of those in the Netherlands, but anyways, one thing that you probably haven't seen much of in the background of my videos is people cycling. Something else that you probably haven't seen much of, or really any of, is public transit. You haven't seen a bus, unless it was maybe a school bus, and you most certainly have not seen a train. And it's not because I'm actively avoiding them, it's because they just kind of don't exist. To be fair, there is a train in the Dallas area. It's called the DART train, Dallas Area Rapid Transit. But as you'll see whenever I make a video showcasing that train, because I will here in the near future, it's very rudimentary. It's better than nothing, and there are people who do use it, but it only goes to a few places. I think there are maybe 4 lines, and the train just doesn't really take you anywhere.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, not only do you have a robust train system with the NS, I know some people aren't particularly fond of it, but let's be real, you are blessed. Okay, you are absolutely 100% blessed. But you also have a very extensive bus system. And listen, here in the US, I feel like even if they added a bus system in the city that I'm in right now, people wouldn't use it because there's so much of a stigma, a societal stigma against taking public transit, especially the bus. Here, if you take the bus, people will think that you're poor, they'll think that you're less than, and honestly, this blows my mind because in the Netherlands, it's normal, it's completely normal to take the bus. And I just find it really, really wild that you can have the same exact concept be perceived so differently simply because of marketing. I feel like this comes back to marketing in some way, shape, or form, because realistically, the only reason why people would have this idea that the bus is an inferior form of transportation is because they've been told that that's the case. And unfortunately, they believed what they were told. You will not see people here riding the bus unless they absolutely have to, unless they have no other alternative options. And
unfortunately, he's absolutely hitting the nail on the head. It is looked upon as if you ride like public transit, especially like the bus, that you have, that you're poor, that people judge like that you're less than, and which is absolutely crazy to think, but that is how it is here. Like he said, like they got good public transport at this point, You don't. There's such a stigma that you don't know if people would actually write it or if they would just want to stick to cars. Um, but yeah, that's the culture and the environment here. Whereas in the Netherlands, right, public transport is looked at. If you're not as a great thing, you got public transport. You can walk, you can bike, you can have a car, you can get around in so many different ways, and nobody judges this way is better than the other. If you get around this way, then you're less than or you're poor, anything like that. And so that is one thing that absolutely has a stigma that should not in the US.
Pretty much everyone here does. People here drive. Not to say that people in the Netherlands don't drive, but I just know that here in the US, that's pretty much the only form of transportation in most cases,
Yeah.
is driving. Whereas, again, in the Netherlands, you have various forms of transportation, and this saves a lot of money. A lot of money. Thankfully, I'm in a position where I don't have to make car payments. My parents are letting me use their 2004, 2005 Dodge Grand Caravan.
That's
It's this
awesome.
big blue van, headliners falling, but it
Yeah.
gets the job done. It gets me from point A to point
That's
B.
that's all you need. That's
But
all you need.
honestly, I would really like to have the option of using the bus or the train, because
Yeah.
it's really nice to be able to do other things while you get from point A to point B.
Yeah. Definitely. At the beginning of our relationship, I would always drive. Uh, when my wife was in the car, she got her passenger princess. But now I usually sit in the back seat with her son and she'll drive. And I absolutely love not having to drive. Like it is greatness. I can just be back there playing with my son. If he's occupied or entertaining himself for sleep, I can be on my phone doing so much and not having to worry about drive. Yeah, I love being passenger. If I didn't have to drive, I would never. I'd much rather just enjoy the ride.
I like to be very time efficient. I don't like wasting time. And I've come to realize that driving is kind of a time wasting activity, because you literally can't do anything else while you do it,
Mhm.
assuming you're a responsible human being with empathy. That said, the
Agreed.
next thing that I miss about living in the Netherlands is the liveliness.
Mm.
So you see me walking around this park right now. It's pretty desolate. There are maybe a few people here, but it's dead. It is dead. And since I've been back, that has been my experience literally everywhere I've gone, other than Walmart and Target. It's just dead here. There aren't a lot of people out and about. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about transportation. People here are in their cars.
Yeah.
If they're not in their cars, they're in their houses. I mean, even when you go to the shopping centers, the malls, things like that, it's just dead. Where are the people? I don't know. I have absolutely no clue where everyone is at, because, I mean, there are millions of people here. They can't all be in their cars, right?
Not
Maybe,
everybody.
maybe not, I don't know. I just
Not
know that in the
everybody.
Netherlands, especially in a city of this size, in fact, I don't even know if there is a city in the Netherlands that matches the population of the DFW area, other than
That's
maybe
a
Amsterdam.
lot of. That's a ton of people.
But let's say a city that's similar in size to the one that I'm walking in right now. This is a suburb of Dallas, Texas. So Lewisville, Texas, the population is somewhere between 100,000 and 150,000. That would
That's just it. And when I would say a lot of people when talking about the DFW area, I think there's millions of people in the DFW area. But just yeah, a town in this area, 100 to 150,000 people.
be pretty similar to maybe Tilburg or Den Bosch. Be in the top 10 to 20 most populated cities in the Netherlands. If you go to a city that has this population in the Netherlands, like I said, a place like, what type of bird is that? I don't think I ever saw one of those in the Netherlands. I don't know what that was, but I get distracted really easily, by the way, especially by animals.
Completely
But anyways,
understand. Completely understand.
you go to a city of this size out there, and you are bound to see people out and about. In fact, sometimes it gets a little overcrowded.
Yeah.
But as an introvert, and look, I cannot stress this enough. I am a much bigger introvert than you probably think I am. I am a very introverted person. I don't really like
Same.
socializing a whole lot. But I'm still human. And as a human, I need some kind of social interaction. Even if that social interaction is as simple as being around other people. I don't even have to
Now,
talk to them. Just the fact that
I
I
understand
know
it.
other people
I
exist
get it.
is
I get
oftentimes
it.
enough for me. But here in the US, I feel like you just don't really get that reminder. And this is something that has definitely stood out to me, maybe above all else, since being back, is just the general air of desolation that you see in the US, at least in the DFW area since I've been back. But I mean, the DFW area, if I'm being honest, is probably the most generic template for what America is like. And I'm pretty well traveled around the US. We're gonna be doing some more traveling here in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But I'm pretty well versed in terms of traveling this country. This is pretty much the most generic area that you can find. So this is a good reference point for what the US looks like. And again, when you look around, it's just desolate. Cars, more cars, trucks, but no people. Maybe a few people playing sports or whatever. Look, you could argue that it's raining, fair enough. The weather wasn't particularly great today, but that's definitely not an excuse, because Dutch people are out and about no matter what the weather is like.
Yeah. But
Unless
I
they're
feel like that's how Dutch people get around, and not making any excuses. Well, we just don't get around by walking or biking, or and so that we is gonna put you out and about less. I'll go to the park when I have time. I'll go to the park and take a walk, and it is nice. And he's right; it do be empty. It definitely do be empty. But I feel like you'll probably see the park more populated during the weekends. But during the week, people got to work and people get around in cars. So for the most part, after you get off work, your kids get out of school, you're not really going to the park daily or going to the park much, right? Everybody's kind of winding down, chilling inside the house is what it looks like for the most part. Yeah, like I just bought moved into this house. I just bought a basketball hoop for outside. So when I finish video, probably won't be at the park, but I'll be out front just playing some basketball.
there's some kind of code orange or something like that, Dutch people are going to be outside. Best believe, rest assured, they are going to be outside. And I do miss that. I miss the liveliness. I miss the ambiance of places like Tilburg, Den Bosch, Haarlem. I visited Haarlem one time to go and see It's Sky. Shout out to It's Sky, or just
It
Sky.
sounds so
Shout out to
dope.
him. Really, really great guy, stand-up
That,
guy.
that channel is an awesome channel as well as his, bro. Two incredible creators.
But even in the suburbs, I feel like, even in Dutch suburbs, you just see people out and about walking, cycling. And again, a lot of this is probably due to the differences in transportation. But I mean, it's not like we don't have sidewalks or trails. We have biking trails, at least in this city. People just don't use them. And again, maybe that comes back to the whole status thing. I don't know. The weather's been nice, other than today. We've had a few thunderstorms and whatnot, but I don't know. The point that I'm making is people here just aren't outside. And even as an introvert, I find it to be a little bit unsettling. Now, earlier you heard me mention Walmart and Target. I have been to Walmart and Target quite a few times since I've been back. And one thing that visiting those grocery stores has really reinforced within my mind is how much I miss Albert Heijn. I miss Albert Heijn so much. And I know if you're Dutch, you might be thinking, well, Albert Heijn is too expensive, this and that. Look, I hear you. I get what you're saying. Compared to Jumbo, compared to maybe Aldi or some of the other stores, Albert Heijn is expensive. But compared to what we see at Walmart and Target, it is very, very cheap. That is heel goedkoop. It's very, very cheap.
Shout out our behinds. Because at Target definitely expensive. Walmart is starting to get pricier in this economy. But Albert Heijn, we need the Albert Heijn. If that's the
And
case,
not
we
only
need one.
that, but there are a lot of vegan options. So if you didn't know, I'm vegan. I am a vegan. I've been vegan since 2017. And honestly, when I went to the Netherlands, I didn't really know what the vegan options would entail. I didn't know what kinds of options I'd have access to. But when I went to Albert Heijn, all of my fears were instantly quelled, because Albert Heijn has so many vegan options in terms of vegan meat, vegan protein bars, just all kinds of vegan options that we just don't have in the US. Or if we do have them, they come at a premium. I'm talking about a premium.
How
Prices
much
that
we
if you
talking?
saw them with your Dutch eyes, you would probably die. Because, I mean, there is no reason to be paying, let's say, $5 or $6 for a box of vegan chicken nuggets. It just doesn't make sense. In the
I feel
Netherlands, not
that.
only do you have more
I
vegan
feel that.
options, but they're cheaper and they have better macros. So look, I'm the kind of person, I count my calories, I track my protein. I want to know what kinds of numbers, so to
Hmm.
speak, I'm putting in my body.
I agree.
And I've realized that a lot of Dutch vegan meats, especially if you look at the Albert Heijn store brand vegan meats, which were my personal favorites, the shawarma, the gehakt, the vegan chicken, they came out with that relatively recently. You have the vegan chicken nuggets, all of that. A lot of those options have a lot of protein relative to the calories, which is what
Yeah,
you want.
for sure.
Whenever you're trying to
Low
get in
calorie,
really
high
good shape
protein.
and you're in the gym, you need to have a lot of protein, but you also don't want to have too many calories for the protein. What I found here is that the things that have a lot of protein typically have not only a lot of calories, but a lot of sugar, especially if you're talking about protein bars, cereals, things
Yeah,
of that nature. So really, it's a lot more difficult to sort of maintain a lean physique, which is what I like to have. It's really difficult to maintain that lean physique being out here because, again, in order to
what I'm trying to get to, I need to eat better. I'm not gonna lie, but I do hit my workouts every day. But yeah, I definitely understand where he's coming from. It is harder to find those high in protein, low in calorie, affordable options. They're expensive. If you find them, they're expensive, and like you said, they still got issues with some of the ingredients. But yeah, it is harder.
get that and sustain it, you have to get a lot of protein and few calories. And it's just hard to do that here. In fact, since I've been back, I've already put on, I want to say 3 kilograms, something like that, in a month, which, to be fair, I am bulking, I am trying to gain weight, so it
Okay.
has been beneficial in that regard. But for my girlfriend specifically, who's on a very limited calorie count per day, it's been very difficult for her. And
Hmm.
I definitely feel for her because I don't really know how to solve that problem. Unless she just eats things that aren't vegan, because she's not vegan. So she
Got you.
can sort of eat things that aren't vegan and make up for it that way. But because we're eating the same dinners, which are vegan, she is kind of, I'm not gonna lie, SOL. She's kind of shit out of luck in that regard, and it's been very difficult for her. And we're gonna find a better solution for her, but
That was like,
that's
why would y'all just eat separate? Like, make different things. Oh, that's just me. Why don't y'all just make different things? But I understand because me and my wife eat completely opposite. There's few meals that we both come together and like we like this, but there's times she won't eat the food that she makes for me. She doesn't like it, but she'll make herself something else, and she'll make me something else, and because she knows that I like it, and so I absolutely appreciate that. Those moments.
that's definitely something that I miss, is just having those vegan options. Now, the next thing that I miss about the Netherlands is the proximity to other countries. The proximity to other countries. So look, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is something that I really took for granted. I acknowledged it when I was there, but I also took it for granted, just knowing that I could be in, let's say, Zurich, Switzerland in
I feel
8 hours
that.
by car, or maybe an hour and a half by plane, if that. I really miss knowing that I was near all of these places and that the flights were so cheap, they were short flights, and
I
generally there
bet.
just wasn't a whole lot of friction in the process of taking these kinds of trips. Since I've been back, I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching a lot of videos about Oslo, I've been watching a lot of videos about Zurich, and just other places in Europe, and I really truly regret not having visited these places. I really do, because I guess I figured that since I was there and they were accessible, there was no need to rush it because I could just wait until I was ready or whatever, and I also would save money.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like if I had documented those trips, if I had went and visited Norway and I had documented those trips, I probably would have made the money back. Because so far, pretty much any time I've traveled within Europe or to Europe, I have made the money back just from documenting the experience. So it's not like I would have lost any money from doing it. Honestly, I don't really know why I didn't travel more. I really wish I would have. I wish that I would have taken advantage of the Netherlands' proximity to other countries in Europe, because it's very centrally located. You're probably, again, about a 3.5 hour maximum flight from the furthest part of Europe,
Yeah.
which maybe that would be what, Moscow or something like that. Don't really have any intentions of visiting there anytime soon, but the point is, the option was there. If I had wanted to visit Moscow or somewhere like that, I could have. Now you're looking at literally an all-day endeavor and probably $1,000+ to get to any of these places that I'm
That
talking
is
about.
insane.
And
All day endeavor and this is why. This is why your boy can't go and travel. This is why I've not been outside of the United States. I don't have that much money to travel. Like I don't have $1,000 just for the ticket. Not even for the hotel fees or wherever I'm. I don't have that money to fly. I'd love to come to Europe. I love to. I ain't got it right now. Hoping these YouTube started going crazy. And I do have it. I would love to come check out the Netherlands, visit some of the cities for like a week, week and a half. Hopefully one day I can. We'll see.
And I'm not gonna lie, given the fact that we're not sure if we're actually going to go back to the Netherlands, that is a little bit soul crushing. Now, what do I mean by we're not sure if we're gonna be going back to the Netherlands? Well, look, again, I really, really miss the Netherlands, and my girlfriend even misses it a little bit, but I think I feel a little more homesick than she does. But we're not sure if we're actually going to go back to the Netherlands, because right now we're deciding what's going to be best for our future. And although the Netherlands provides objectively the highest quality of life of any place that I've been to personally, save for maybe Zurich. Zurich is close, but I only spent a day there, so not really a fair comparison. But so far, of any place that I've spent extensive time in, the Netherlands has offered a much higher quality of life. But that quality of life comes at a cost. It comes at a price. And although it is a lot cheaper to be there than the US, there are still countries that are much cheaper than the Netherlands while providing
I feel
a
that.
decent quality of life. Probably still a better quality of life than the US, but at a much lower cost. And we're definitely considering moving to one of those countries once our stay here in the US is over. We're not entirely sure yet. It'll kind of just depend how the next month and a half plays out, but our options are open. But even if we do that, even if we move to one of these countries, and we have one particular country in mind, it's probably not very difficult to guess which country it is, because I feel like this country is a hot topic at this point in time. But
The Netherlands?
even if we do move to that country, the plan that we still have is to utilize the difference in the cost of living compared to the money that we're making to just save our money as much as possible, so that we can eventually move back to the Netherlands or maybe elsewhere in Europe. But preferably I'd go to the Netherlands. That's just me though. But move back to the Netherlands and purchase a house in cash, paid in full, and not have to worry about housing, and literally just die there.
That would be absolutely dope. That make that kind of money to be able to do that. Now we talking. That's a good plan. Dang, what countries in Europe so hot topic? Like Ukraine, Russia, Poland. That he can save a lot of money. I'm thinking more Central Eastern Europe type countries that are going to be a bit cheaper cost of living. That's all we got. You guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you like to support the channel by becoming a member, hit that join button, and I'll see y'all on the next